Hello and welcome back to another episode of Bantz with Lawrencia. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing great. Now for today's episode, I want to talk about the negative effect of a bride paying for her wedding. Now you can think that it's okay for a woman to support her husband or her husband to be during the wedding preparation. There's nothing wrong with that. It is fine. But you also have to understand why that man is not able to contribute at that point in time. That wedding can be postponed. Like, I don't even understand why a man will propose to you. And then, unless you want a big wedding, if the bride wants a big wedding and the husband or the husband-to-be cannot afford that wedding, then it is fine for her to go all out and pay for the wedding if she wants to. But the negative impact of that is the man may feel emasculated. He may not even be prepared for that marriage, because at the end of the day, if a man is proposing to you and the wedding date is being fixed, I don't understand why he will not make preparations for that wedding. Like, it's crazy. Now, the reason I want to talk about it is there's this tweet on social media where a man is explaining that he did groomsmen for a friend or a church member, and then I think 6 months later the wedding was over. According to him, this church member reached out to him and told him that he met the girl that he wants to marry and that she has money. So basically the marriage already was on a faulty foundation because he chose her because she has money. He said he kind of raised eyebrow, but he was like, to each to his own. So the guy was asking him to be the best man, but he was thinking, I don't even know this person very well. But at the end of the day, he settled for the groomsmen. He said at the wedding reception, they ran out of drinks. The groomsmen and church members and even the guests had to chip in to buy some drinks for the reception. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes when you invite people for a wedding, they invite friends, family. At the end of the day, the couple might be running out of food and drinks. That is understandable. But the way he put it was that the guy did not pay anything for that wedding. He did not contribute. So the girl or the bride did what she could at that point. So fast forward, he said 6 months later he was chilling, and then one of the groomsmen reached out to him and said, oh boy, the wedding is over. He was like thinking, what do you mean? 6 months ago we attended this wedding. Why are you saying the wedding is over? According to the friend that called him, he said that the groom, after the wedding, wedding now, okay, let's go for honeymoon. They moved into a hotel. 1 month, 2 months, they were still living in the hotel. The bride was like, where is the house? That was when the groom disclosed to her that there was no house. He is homeless and he is a fraudster. He does not have anywhere to go. He's just waiting for a maga to pay, and basically there's no money. So at the end of the day, she was footing the bill. You know how maybe she agreed to do the wedding because he was lying about some business deal, and then wedding reception or wedding honeymoon, they moved into a hotel. She was still paying that. I mean, anyway, she moved back to her parents, and that was the end of that marriage. Now people were thinking, how could she not have done her research? How could she not have known that this guy does not have money, or this guy does not have a house? Listen, you've not dated pathological liars. You've not dated people that lie for a living. Yahoo boys, like these people can literally live now that we have service apartments, they can rent a service apartment for maybe the duration of the time they want to deceive you. They will be there. You're thinking, okay, this is their house, and they're there. They have pictures and everything there. They will just is not just to get a picture and put on the wall. You're thinking, okay, this person has a house. This is not far off from Tonto Dike's story. Tonto Dike met Olakunle Churchill, who was saying that he's Obasanjo's son. He is wealthy. He's into businesses. He has this. He has that. I mean, former President Olusegun Obasanjo's son. Like, excuse me, you would not doubt that this person doesn't have money. The father was once a president, once a former army general. So that connection is that you'll be thinking, okay, he has that connection. Even if he doesn't have, the father could connect him to one or two things. Even maybe it doesn't have sense. You're thinking by extension, you could propose certain things to your father-in-law, and then he will see reasons and help the both of you as a couple. Tonto Dike started dating Churchill. He was lying that he has some businesses, his money is tied up somewhere, he's waiting for a container. Tonto Dike was buying gifting gifts to herself, saying that Churchill gave her gifts. She bought a ring, she paid for the wedding, she paid for the honeymoon. They traveled for honeymoon, she paid for it. At the end of the day, that marriage did not work. She moved to Ghana with Churchill, and he didn't have a house. When the penny dropped, she already had a child for him, and he was already sleeping with his current wife now, that he called his sister Rosie Mira. So that marriage, it was so toxic. At the end of the day, there was so many headlines. Tonto Dike calling him a 2 minutes man. Churchill, like it was messy. It was messy. Now the current marriage that is also circulating social media, saying that she paid for the wedding. We all have heard about Portia Williams and Simon Gubadia's divorce debacle on social media. According to the story, Simon was already married when they met. He and his ex-wife met Portia. Portia actually invited the ex-wife Fallon to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, so they were supposed to be friends. And then Portia saw Simon, and before then Simon had already packaged himself like this rich oil tycoon, billionaire business guy. He said it was worth about 4 billion or how many billion dollars that he said he was worth. So he was flashing money. Portia saw that and was thinking, this is the kind of man I want to be with. She literally kicked Fallon by the side, started dating Simon. A month later, they got married. According to the story, Simon was busy flying Portia in private jets, and he was not even paying for those private jets. He was leasing the private jets and not paying for it. So Portia thought this guy had money. So he was claiming he was doing this business, that business. There was one he posted on social media that he is getting into this business. So he literally, like Yahoo people can, hey, don't get involved with any Yahoo person, because those people can lie. Portia started buying him gifts, doing everything, like she was busy. Portia was spending her money. When time for the wedding, Portia decided to have a massive wedding. Portia paid, according to the reports, Portia paid for that wedding. These are just a few examples of people paying for marriages. I know friends who've paid for their marriage, and trust me, it's not easy. There's a reason why that man is not paying for that marriage or that paying for that wedding. Some people generally cannot afford the kind of wedding. Women, they like wedding, they like big wedding, they want to show off, and there's nothing wrong with that, because when you do a big wedding, you literally get all the families together, all the extended family, cousins. See, somebody will tell you something, even if the families are lying. Some crazy uncle or crazy auntie or one cousin that is running their mouth to tell you something. All you need to do is to listen at that point. So big weddings, yes, it is good if you can afford it, but as a woman, paying for a big wedding is a very risky situation, because most of these women, they go into debt, they collect loan, or they clear their savings to be able to afford these weddings. And because there's a reason why that man is not paying for that wedding. There's a reason why that man is not, because maybe he doesn't see you the way you see him. Maybe some men just want to get married. Some men just want to answer, okay, I'm a married man. Some of them are gay, but because of family pressure, they want to get married. And the woman, maybe she's at a marriageable age, she's looking at her biological clock, she's looking at friends that are getting married, and she's thinking, okay, even if he cannot afford it, I can afford it, let me pay for it. It doesn't end well, because that man will just pick up their bag, walk away without anything attached to them. Because I don't understand it. When somebody proposes to you, a man proposes to a woman saying that they want to marry you, the least they can do is to pay your bride price. If you now want a white wedding, There are weddings that don't cost an arm and a leg. You could get 50 people, you could get 20 people, you could even get 10 people, to do that wedding. But no, people want 500 people, 1,000 people and all that, and then people are going into debt. So some of them will be like, okay, you bring 50-50, or you both take out a loan and I'll take out a loan for us to be able to afford this wedding, and then you're going into a marriage in debt. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, especially women. If somebody is proposing to you, and regardless of how desperate you are, regardless of how much you wanted that big wedding, if they cannot afford it at that point, you guys should sit down, do what you can afford. You can always do vow renewals. You can do that on a yearly basis, just to compensate whatever. If you're feeling like you've not done anything, you can do vow renewals on a yearly basis. People do it depending on how you want it. But don't just start a marriage with that whole, do you even know what you're getting yourself into? You don't know how that person is with finances. So now you're bringing that payment into that union. It's not going to end well. Most of the friends that I know that pay for their wedding, they are sitting down crying on a daily basis, because the man is like, okay, you've paid for this thing. They're expecting you to pick up things that ordinarily you wouldn't have done that. Let the man be a man. If you're coming to marry me, the least you can do is to bring that bride price. The least you can do is to bring money for wedding, because you're going to sit down, you're proposing. When is the wedding? What kind of marriage or wedding do you want? But people don't even think. They only think about the wedding. They don't think about the marriage. Everybody, if you're planning for a wedding, whether big, whether small, think about, plan the wedding, but also think about the marriage. How is this wedding going to affect the marriage? How is it going to affect your finances? How is it going to affect your mental health? Think about those things. And then how is it going to affect your growth as a couple? If people sit down and talk about these things, I don't think anybody will go and marry somebody who is deceiving them. Before you marry somebody, know what they are doing. Don't just go and marry because they took you to a club and paid 20,000, 10,000, flashing money up and down. Money that you don't even know where they got it from. This person is jobless. What are they doing? You don't know. But because he's spending money, you think, okay, people don't even mind marrying Yahoo boys now. Because they are the ones spending money. It's crazy. It's just crazy. Anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Ladies, please, before you get married, think about not just the wedding, but think about the marriage. And also, this question goes to our married women. Did you pay for your wedding? Did you contribute financially to the wedding? Or did you let the man be the man? If you contributed, how did that affect the marriage going forward? Did it affect it? If it's yes, tell us how. Anyway, everybody should do what works for them. You know who you're getting married to. You know how they are with money. That will now determine what you do moving forward. What kind of wedding you have. Sit down. Have those conversations. Talk about finances. Thank you very much for watching today's episode. Please like and share. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.